Chunking and repetition. Now, although debatable, fighting games aren't too different from sports in that they require practice and repetition, which is typically the first step towards getting better. Just like how a star player internalizes the muscle memory of a jump shot, free throw, or dunk, alternatively, the same thing must be done, except replaced by things like mid-screen, corner, and grab combos. Now, chunking is where you break down a large sequence into bite-sized pieces, like doing the ground part first, then aerial section second, and so forth. Pace yourself and you'll get things down in no time. So when you finally get that combo down, do not leave and jump online. I repeat, do not leave and jump online. If you can get the combo down a solid 4 to 8 reps flawlessly, then you're set to move on. So in short, get some simple combos down, make sure you can execute them, and then get online and then hook it up. Situational practice. Remember, when practicing, try to have a goal of learning at least one important thing when you're finished. Working on similar things in a session helps to do this. So for instance, if you're learning how to instantly air dash effectively, don't just move on to throwing after you feel you have it down. Focus on resets using this technique along with combos that include it. You'll learn it much faster that way, and it'll stick in your head much easier. Friends. You are the company you keep. So if you like practicing against people who aren't really as good as you, you just like to beat up on them, kind of have a good time, feel good inside, the same will happen to you later on when you go and fight other people. Combo breaker! But if you fight against people who are as good, if not better than you, then you're going to notice even if you don't start winning, you're going to be playing much better. And you will start to eventually win because you'll be so used to fighting against superior tactics that when an opponent does something wrong or uses inferior methods, you'll be absolutely ready to capitalize on it. And to be honest, I feel this is probably the single biggest tip I can give if I could only pick one. Having someone to fight and get better with makes the journey much easier, feel much faster, and honestly, it's just way more fun that way. So make sure you go and add some people. You will suck. It's a fact of life, you will lose in fighting games. No matter how good you've been at another fighting game, you will lose, and probably lose a lot in the beginning. If you find you're losing more than usual, maybe it's time to go into training mode and learn some new techniques. Learn some new tricks, throw combos, or maybe a better way to use your meter. When you feel like you've significantly improved and are beating people who used to constantly beat you, it's known as leveling up. If you're losing, then really think, is it because I'm making stupid mistakes? Am I messing up inputs? Or are they just beating me flat out? If it's the last one, then training mode's probably the best place to go. Metagame. Knowing the tendencies of gameplay is known as metagame. The things that fuel people's decisions and everything around the mental aspect of the game. Some people call it mind games, but I just like to call it meta. Learn what characteristics certain characters have, what they tend to do, and then counter them. And with even higher level play, learn what your character typically does, and then do the opposite of that to really confuse people. Write it down. This might not apply to everyone, but it does for me since I like to post information on forums and in videos. Write things down. When in training mode, sometimes I come across the most coolest, stupidest, weirdest things on accident, and it's freaking sweet. But I always make sure to write it down so I have it for later, and I can expand on it in the future if it probably leads to something. Writing down a combo helps, and writing down tech or things you only learn from playing with a character for a while also help too. Test on everyone. Due to different hitboxes and character sizes and weight, many times certain combos have to be adjusted to work on certain characters, and some combos just won't work at all. In order to really be really good, you have to work on combos with everyone, and you'll do well. Don't get excited if you learn an epic combo just yet. Test on everyone and then make changes accordingly. Comprehension. If you can help it, try to optimize your combos. Optimizing is basically fitting every little punch or kick you can in order to maximize damage. Mind you, sometimes it's better to do a shorter combo with easier execution and just a tad less damage than a really long combo that's hard to do and just marginally better. The internet, good and bad. The internet is definitely good, but it can really hurt sometimes with the overwhelming amount of information and no help to truly comprehend things. Sometimes information can just plain be outdated. Unfortunately, all I can really say here is to scour the net for everything you can find and try to compare things for yourself. People who know what they're talking about have a pretty good way of portraying that they do, so pay attention to those people. Frustration. Sometimes it's just one of those days. You're gonna get salty. You're gonna get hella salty. And to keep from getting overly salty, there's 3 things you can do. 1. Keep playing and beat up other people to make yourself feel better, which actually helps a lot. 2. Take a break and just quit for a little bit. Or 3. Go to training mode and deal with your frustration on a dummy and learn new things too. Alright, let's go over these 10 steps one more time just to make sure everyone has them completely down. Number 1, chunking and repetition. Now just because you completed one combo in training mode, it doesn't mean you're ready for online. Make sure you have it down so well you feel like you can read notifications and do the combo at the same time. 2, situational practice. If something keeps happening to you in the real game, practice it and simulate it in training mode so that it doesn't happen so much. 3, add people who are better, aka rivals. 4, remember you suck. You suck, I suck, we all suck. It's a part of sucking life. 5, learn the opponent's game, metagame. It's about they know you know they know you know, you know? 6, write shit down. You don't always have to write things down, but if you learn something really cool, you might want to write it down for later so you don't forget. 7, test on everyone. You might actually have learned a really sweet looking combo, but it doesn't mean too much when you need it really bad, but it doesn't work on someone because you haven't tested it. 8, comprehension. It doesn't mean anything to learn that cool combo, but not really know why it works so well or if it's a good combo to do. 9, use the internet, but be careful. The internet can be a really great tool, but it can also overwhelm people and make people not even want to practice because they see people doing so much and feel like, how can I do this? How can I do what they do? Don't feel like that. Get information and learn at one step at a time. 10, frustration. To be quite honest, real talk, no script. I actually got done playing top level player the other day. Last time I played Skullgirls, actually, I got hella pissed and I got just as salty. I was really just cut. I was upset. Anyways, it's ironic because I really shouldn't have been upset because this guy is a really good player.